game, a new map. We do have a group that is, of course, not playing in this game, right? We do not have Celts, we do not have Orange Rock, and we do not have Nova. So, of course, Orange Rock off the back of what was an impressive Game 2 in Vikendi. What can the teams who are bringing in Valdus, IND, RQ, and TSM show us in Miramar?
Well, let's see what they can indeed bring to the table, Imperium. Going to be having Yuri, currently our team in, second position, right behind BTR. You know, BTR, they already got double their amount of points, so boy, that's insane. But Yuri, they're going to go for Cobriera up north. Hopefully, they get a decent circle for them on phase one, because their circle shifts mid to late game, not really good in their favor. They've been pretty unlucky, most of the time actually stopping them from getting those chicken dinners.
Of course, Numaste Duostu to all our viewers out there and everybody supporting the stream for day one of the PMWL East. We are seeing these teams, of course, playing their way down south because the playing trajectory is towards the west of the map. You gotta hope, the teams have got to hope that the phase one circle complements it. It does, Max, but it is quite heavily down south.
Poor you guys. Like, come on. They're like, oh, come on. We went for the northern side. But we're going to have a little bit of action already early on. Potentially was Team Secret, if I'm not mistaken. You've got a few players of you level up all around them. But we're going to go straight over to San Martin, where T1 going to be joining up with some early game action. Still got 4 players alive, and boy, they are clearing up this area. And they're going to be picking up their very first kill of this game. Still looking for Valdus Esports. They're just like staying on top of that building. They are scared to go down, baby. But how will Valdus respond to this one?
Valdus had a break in Game 2, but maybe they've just been caught napping a little bit too long coming into this Game 3, being caught out in the early parts of this game in the San Martin area by T1. In the last game in Vikendi, T1 did drop with King of Gamers, but they disengaged earlier on. They do not want to do it this time. They want to take the fight to Valdus.
So we're seeing on our kill feed RQ, and also No Chance taking a little bit of fight to a little Podzo. We'll see how that's going to be coming out eventually over the board. But right now, unfortunately, having that high ground position from Arm Joe, not going to give them too much really information away, because T1, they already cracked this one open. They're already in the building. But at least if they did pick up some utility, because the fight was so quick, right? I hope they were able to pick up some smokes, some mollies and grenades, because if they didn't, to stop that push off T1 is going to be really a hard task to achieve.
Oh, Martin is able to at least clap back and get a knockdown onto ZP to at least stop T1 in their tracks in the early parts of this Miramar game. This is the PMW East. This is day one. This is what we want to see.
Exactly. Also, TSM Entity and Team Secret going to be popping up a lot of potential fights happening over here on Miramar, which is not supposed to happen all that often. It is the biggest map in the game. Yep. So this is definitely very intriguing, but nice actually explosion coming out from Valdus Esports. Going to shut down a player of T1, but that's fine. He is safe for the time being, as here it is. Going to go over to Hacienda del Patron. You have to say it with the accent, otherwise it doesn't work, Imperium. And now we're going to have Team Secret slowly going to get breached up. TSM Entity actually having only 2 players remaining as Z-God and Clutch God. They're going to go for the push. Z-God's down. Clutch God going to be left alone. We have 2 gods. One is down. Will he be the one true god of them all? That's the question. But Clutch God trying his best to reposition, trying to really capitalize on the fact that 2 members are knocked away for Team Secret. Goes for the push. Gets potentially one. U-High put extremely low, and he takes absolutely no damage. Switches over to the shotgun. And that's not the best weapon to pull off Clutch's Imperium. Here it is. They're going for the push. Need a few more bullets. What is happening right now? What is this standoff? He's taking almost no damage. Clutch God, what is going through? Team Secret now, they might have to rethink this one. Like, how did they not catch him out, Imperium?
So many bullets flying in the direction of Clutch God, but none of them connecting. We saw he had to switch from the M4 to the shotgun because he had to try to reload the gun, but at the end of the day, he's gonna survive as Clutch God gets a knockdown on the shot onto Mad Toy. He shuts down Team Secret, and TSM fight back in Miramar.
And the res, normally on Z-God, should be coming out. They're going to remain as a 2-man army. That's a way better performance than what we saw earlier on Erangel. But now back on over to the fight of San Martin. Going to be having Velmoth going on to the... Oh, man, some more shotgun. So many shotgun action coming out on top there. And there you have it. T1 will indeed be the one to come out on top as they pick up 4 kills on Valdus Esports. Lose, unfortunately, Saden and ZZP along the way. But at least they remain alive, which is still a good thing.
4.5 minutes into this game, and we are down to 14 teams already. We've barely had a chance to talk about the circle and talk about the rotations that these teams will have to look to make on the sweeping Miramar map. We saw phase 1 in the down southern area part of the game. When you're looking at Reject Scarlet, they're on the far east by Impala. They're going to have a nice, easy entryway, probably down on the south west coast past IND and get onto the high ground down the south of Chumasera.
As we're currently also looking at no chance. They left really down south the area of El Pozo to take in a fight with RRQ Athena. You know what? They lost one member, unfortunately. But now they can easily go through the road that's on the western side. It's very clean, it's very safe. No teams are really going to be around there at this early stage, and it just allows you to easily get yourself in the western section of the circle. So I think it's pretty safe. No chance should get there pretty safely.
Synergy, they're in Valdemar, they're on their own for now. They are inside the circle, but Valdemar, because it's very low down, Max, they'll have to definitely be aware of the fact that the longer they leave it to rotate onto the high ground, the harder it is to get that strong position where they're going to be able to push teams back.
Now, if you guys know me, my favorite area is Picado. BTR, they took that area under control, so you know what? I like Picado. Reason why? It offers you so many rotations on phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 circle. They're pretty central right now. They don't even have to really leave the area if they really don't want to, and the car spawns are pretty decent. You know, you need cars to pull off those rotations. So Bigatron going into this, they already got the tools early stage to make a back-to-back win.
Let's see, as we do see mega stars on our screens. They have the star of the show, Sexy Vexy, along with the on-loan player from Fnatic always. Let's see if they can turn the Monte Nuevo drop spot into the high ground to the south of La Drillera and get that prominent position to get that strong result.
Every time I hear Sexy Vexy, is like, you know, experiment comes to my mind, like a daydream.
Well, he is your dad, after all.
He is. He's the PUBG Mobile esports dad. That is his name. That's what Experiment is. There you go. TSM Entity, they picked up 4 kills. Once again, very good clutch coming out from Clutch God. You know what? I just realized that. There, you know what? It deserves his name.
But let's be a little bit kind of serious about this, right?
Oh.
If you're really thinking about it, TSM needed that squad, right? They actually need it. I know it's only day 1. I know there's a long way to go. I've already talked to Sid. I've gotten answers from him. They are 100% confident. But when it's all said and done, every single game you have to try and bounce back. And on the back of a poor game 1 in Erangel, where they got taken out by BTR, you had to come in strong on this game 3.
And they didn't even play last game on Vikendi. So,
exactly.
You know what? That's actually, so far this is going to be their 2nd game. You can have one bad game, but this is also your seeding time. So if you want to get some decent seedings, you only got 2 days coming up into this. So you got to try and put the better performance ASAP into your games. As really, T1 still taking their time, finishing to loot. They got all the area for themselves really in San Martin. So why not just get the entirety of the loot and look if you can maybe find a few medkits.
Of course, T1, they got 9 kills in game 1 in Erangel. It's incredible how strong they can pull out the kills when it's needed, and we've seen this in Miramar.
Rotation coming out from a few squads so far. Going to be checking out a nice replay move, and here it is. That's the clutch moment. Zigot, I do want to say, enabled all of that entire interaction to actually happen. Got 2 nice knockdowns for himself, and then it switched over to shotguns. You know, normally the meta on Miramar is more like, DMRs, big boy snipers, ARs for long range and mid range. Shotguns, you don't see it too often coming in through. It did, have somewhat of a 50-50, impact rate, but at the end it was still won by TSM Entity.
And looking over on that replay, the hype moment, we just couldn't believe it. So it was kind of hard to break down what really happened. And when you really look at it, Team Secret played poorly because they knew there was only 1 player left of TSM Entity. So those footsteps that they would have heard, it should have been so clear that he was coming in from behind. But let's see where this phase 2 goes up. It centers up quite nicely. You have a lot of the south high ground still in play, but you also have the high ground to the south of Picado and to the east of Picado, which is very easily playable.
It's not going to really have a huge impact on this lobby. Reason why no really teams focus, well, actually 0 teams focus down on the island in this southwestern section. So really just shifted back over to the mainland. You always like to see it. And really not going to have too much of a big change up in this phase 2 circle. So really we're going to have to wait. And normally when you have some fights happen after the hot drops is mainly going to be towards phase 3, phase 4. That's when the action's going to be unfolding.
And we see Synergy, they did what I expect them to, which is they rotated away from Valdemar relatively early enough. They're on the high ground by Minas del Val. Now they're going to be able to go a little bit up north, overlooking the Chumacera area, where they'll hopefully be able to get a lot of information on more forward to the north of them. Even BTR, who disengage away from Mikado, and Team IND, who are to the east of Synergy.
Going to be also on Megastars, trying to rotate their way through. You know what? They're going to be a little bit cornered up between No Chance. There's also going to be Box Gaming. There's going to be Level up north of them. They are a little bit clustered. Hopefully they won't get caught out of position. But so far, there are a lot of dips in that area where they're playing. So if they do get pressured, they'll have a few dips to play around.
Yeah, but when you really look at it, depending on where this next phase goes, there's a lot of teams on the west, not just the ones that are close towards the edge of the circle where we saw in Megastars, but even outside the circle where RQ and Gank are coming.
Synergy, these scouting out sees Kratos. Oh boy, that's some damage instantly coming out of Austin bot. And they'll get the knockdown. But now they still have another player. Slayer that's going to be down below for Team IND. Only having 2 players to currently just put opposition versus Synergy. But you can't really easily push that. And Austin Box, he learned that the hard way. Just like, okay, I'm not going to go out there. They got some DMRs. They got some bolt action coming straight up. Team IND are keeping the pressure down to pull off that res back up. But Kratos gets confirmed Imperial. Yep. Team IND down to 3 players.
Yeah, take that vision away, take that awareness, take the eyes, and of course, confirm the kill, confirm the point. It's going to help them in their confidence as Synergy look to take control of this area of the map. It's a little bit to the east. They moved from the Minas Tirith area. They want to take control of this high ground, and I love the fact that they are not spreading themselves too thinly. They have those vehicles they can disengage from depending on the circle shift.
Winter, that car streaming gets weak just before impact, just before explosion. So Winter will, lucky enough, make it away of the grasp of Megastars. Yeah, you talked about it, right? High ground. In those locations, important. That's why Megastars has such an upper hand location on You Level Up.
And you're telling me, because when we looked at a few minutes ago, Megastars had No Chance and You Level Up close by. They've basically created a huge space simply because of their ability to push back on those shots of You Level Up.
Exactly. If you're a One Piece fan, you know, room, not getting in my circle, otherwise you're dead. But that's fine. Megastars still keeping the pressure down. They got them DMRs, those bot action that you need to try and keep that distance with the other teams. Oh, see the head peeking out distance. Team I-10 of Box Gaming, Brace going to be joining the party, trying to get 2 points of pressure. But once again, they got building, they got a little bit of a dip. They're safe, and I think that their position is currently safe for quite a few minutes. So we could potentially shift over to another fight where currently RQ and also No Chance going to be taking a pretty big engagement for themselves.
Off to Els was confirmed earlier on, so now it's going to be up to the rest of the No Chance team to push on to RRQ. RQ took out, or stood out game 2, should I say, so they're back for game 3 in Miramar. As D2E wrapping around inside the building. Godless coming in from inside. He's been pretty impressive so far. Let's see if he can continue to be impressive. Behind Nick and gets knocked. So does Godless. Choco Nut is on his own.
Yeah, Choco Nuts, you're having a little bit of a break over there. You got to join the party, my friend, but unfortunately, it might be too long. It might be too late. RRQ Athena could easily just get those flashes, confirm 2 extra points, and be up to 3 points total. And Choco Nuts like, okay, I'm going to be leaving. See you later, guys.
Well, it's going to be hard for him to get away because as those kills are being confirmed on the other side, as we saw this fight break through the phase 3 circle, shifted to the east. So all those teams along the likes of Megastars, You Level Up, Box Gaming, and Gank are now outside of the circle.
Yep, big boy rotation is going to have to come on through. There's not a really good amount of high ground down south on the western side, so there's going to be a big fight for those current positions. As Megastars, now they know that they're not in circle, they have to move away. And lucky enough, because they had that circle, that room I talked about earlier, they could easily just slip out of that fight where there was 3 teams around them. And, you know, they set up themselves not only for that current position, but also for the mid to late game stage.
I'll give that jump from always a good 7 out of 10. It was nice height. It was really well executed, but let's see as we go on. As You Level Up are going right into the palm of the hands of RQ, who just had a fight against No Chance. Now they're ready to take up a few more kills. That leaves Qmao on his own now. Now, Qmao game 2, he took out T1, took out the so many other players. 6 kills for that team in the last game on him alone.
Qmao, more like Lamau. You're dead. There you go.
There you go.
We'll call him like that now, Lamau. I think that's a better name that is very fitting. Megastars gonna have 1 car, unfortunately, a little bit of a bad spot. No, we keep on looking at Megastars every single time on the camera, but I think it's worth it because their rotation is just so by the book, so simple yet so effective, and it just gets them in a good position every time.
And unlike some teams that would be hard shifted away, Max, they're not going in all at once. They're taking it step by step. They're stopping, scouting, moving, stopping, scouting, moving. It's such a well-placed rotation from Megastars.
Stopping, scouting, moving. SSM, SM, The Smurf PUBG.
Well, okay, fair enough.
I don't know.
Enough. Okay.
Trying to find a few names there, but yeah, TSM Entity, Seagull, Clutch Guards slowly going to be on a little bit of a low ground. Not a great position. They got across the road. They're scattered out by King of Gamers Club. At least they do have 2 cars, right? So that's going to make things a little bit easier and relieve some of the pressure. And they got that dip next to the road too, which gives them a really good amount of coverage versus King of Gamers Club. Really well executed from TSM Entity.
Yeah, but they're definitely not out of the woods.
Oh, yeah.
They're just on the northeastern tip of the circle. They do have T1 to the western on the far northern tip as the blue zone is closing in on phase 3. Phase 4 is about to be showing up on our screens. You do gank one of the teams on the edge of the circle. Megastars coming in behind them. The circle centers up right into the palm of the hands of Synergy. Now it's going to be up to them to hold on to the center part of the circle.
On last game on Vikendi, BTR had a very similar circle to this, and they took the chicken dinner. Synergy, this might be your opportunity to end that win streak of BTR and take this chicken dinner of Miramar for yourselves. Now, a lot of teams going to have to come out from many angles. A few rows going to have to play around. A lot of rows actually in this game, but Vexy Sexy, unfortunately, will be taken out swiftly by Fredol of Yudu, actually coming in a little bit of an engagement on the side of this circle.
Honestly, considering how long Megastars have been rotating, the fact that they've only lost 1 player off that, in my eyes, is a huge sign of a huge level of was it Stonks?
Stonks.
There you go, there you go. But now, as you do, are going to have to find their way on the southern tip of the circle. We do have 14 teams, 41 players as we hit the 16.5-minute mark of this game, Max.
Ah, man, so much action is going to be happening right now. We talked about it, right? The later phases, especially phase 3, phase 4. Now we're going to be kicking off phase 4 right now. The circle's going to be closing up. That's where the big boy fight's about to come up and break through. Now you do still have to make it through. They make it into the circle, but they're not going to go any further because that high ground, hey, that's a property of Synergy.
And there is a little bit of a compound where Megastars could actually play their way into on the southern tip of the circle, but they don't necessarily have that information because they've been playing on the edge for most of the game. But as Box Gaming rotate their way through on the far western edge, they break scouting himself forward, giving information to the rest of the team. But you do, they are very close by.
Break of Box Gaming in a box. Very fitting. There you go. Even though the logo is not a box, which I'm still a little bit surprised, but that is fine. Going to get himself in a circle, but oh, here it is. Bigatron Red Alien's going to come around versus TSM Entity. Clutch God got shut down. And Seagod will be left alone. But you know what? We talked about it, right? That road was separating the circle and BTR. They were going to struggle eventually, and they have 1 member taken down. And great grenade response from Seagod. And they're going to go for another one, trying to potentially confirm those kills. They've got 4 kills so far on Team Secret. Can they claim the lives? Yes, they claim 1. That's the 5th kill of TSM for the other side of BTR on TSM Entity. And now BTR, they still got a little bit of high ground. Keep the pressure down. Zigod was not able to pull off the res.
This is the revenge fight for TSM. In game 1, they got taken out by BTR on the bridge, but can they come back fighting in Miramar? Zigod left on his own as BTR crashed their way through down the hill. The shots are coming through from Zigod as he peeks and shoots his way through and puts so much pressure onto BTR. BTR off the back of a 2 chicken dinners in a row, and TSM are making them look weak.
I mean, Micro Boy, just a few HP, was able to barely get res back up, but here it is. Zuxi, great angle, I do have to mention there, onto the boys of King of Gamers Club. Unfortunately, not going to get any ending shots just yet, and maybe you got to try and finish his focus onto Zigod first before committing to another fight. They're taking 2 fights at the same time. Could put them in a little bit of a bad spot later on down the line.
Definitely great awareness coming out from BTR. They were able to take multiple fights at the same time while being put under pressure of TSM. But now as we look on towards Yudu Gank, I said this fight between them and Box Gaming was about to kick off. As you see, the blue zone is closing in on this next phase. Is it going to shift up north? Is it going to shift down south? It could go in any direction. It goes up north right. Again, once again in the hands of BTR.
I'm seeing Jumper, he's got his mini 14, he's got his DMR locked and loaded, looking for the fight. Unfortunately, we've just seen a kill feed, so Egon unfortunately gets taken out. There you go, TSM Entity eliminated in 12th position, 11 teams still remaining over here on Miramar, the dessert map. Now, Box going to be popping off a little bit of smoke, a little bit of utility. I think that Yudu, they have to refocus on Synergy right now because they're going to get gatekeeped by their team very, very soon. Imperium getting into this, so they got to try and keep their focus on those 2 teams at the same time. And as I say that, Yudu are going to be leaving the scene. They just don't have time to take Box Gaming just yet.
I like the fact, though, that you two are thinking about the late game, right? I'm always aware of trying to take down what's going on behind you. But now as this fight goes on between Morph and RQ get eliminated and Morph continue on. They're still a full squad. They're able to shut down RQ. They're going to move their way up. And Morph are morphing themselves into this game, into the latter parts on the northwestern tip of the circle.
Kemal moving down. Frenzy of Morph, new addition to the team. Is going to slowly try and cruise his way by because they are actually one of the furthest team away from the next circle on phase 5. So hopefully things will be okay for them. But here it is. The fight that you mentioned earlier, Imperium, is going to be Yudu versus Synergy. Yudu having one member knocked away. Synergy still full squad. 4v3 so far in their advantage. But here it is. They're peeking over the top of the mountain. And Yudu, before committing fully, they're going to go for the res, which I'm not too sure if that's a good idea, my friend. But still, the nice spray comes out from Zigsaw. A grenade could be huge to shut them down, but Zigsaw will be the first character of Synergy. And oh my god, that was instantly shut down with that car explosion.
Great rotation coming out from Yudu gang as a two-man team pushing forward, knocking out Survey. Smokes get thrown out by Drax to create that little bit of space. And that gives more awareness, more positional play for Yudu gang to close out the members of Synergy, leaving just Awesome Bot X and Ted left standing.
Issue we have right here, Synergy way too thinly spread, not able to hold the edge of the circle. Unfortunately, a 2-2 split would have been on point, but then unfortunately that a 2-1-1 made things definitely a little bit harder for them. But now, Yudi's still able to make it out alive. Megastars, you talked about it right there, to rotate down south. They made it across the road because all the teams were so focalized on each another. That made a great opening for Megastars, but there's now 3-4 teams around them. Can they make it out to the next stage?
We just lost King of Gamers Club as well, yet to really kick off their PMWL East with two overall realistically poor performances, but of course we'll see if they can make up for it as Yudu gang are trying to make up. They take down Megastars. They're on 5 kills already. They're pushing the way through on the southern tip of the circle, taking down the majority of Synergy, taking down Megastars. We see Reject eliminated. 5 teams left.
5 teams left, and BTR still in the lobby. Can they make the unthinkable thinkable, Imperium, and get 3 chicken dinners right off the bat, kicking off this entire PMWL East tournament? As Synergy, unfortunately, going to be taking a big fat L in that one. Ted is going to be left alone in his own little compound, just crying in his corner, hopefully able to make his way back in circle. He's only got 30 seconds to take action here. We make it to phase 6. I'm a little bit doubtful.
It's definitely not going to be easy, but maybe he can play off the distraction that Yudu and Team IND might be able to create against each other. It is going to be 4v2 between Yudu and Team IND. You also have Morph. Morph are still a full squad on the eastern side of this circle.
420 OP of Team IND is going to go for the push. He sees the information. He gets the... Oh my god, gets shoved done. I thought he's got jumper there for a second, but unfortunately not quite able to get that knockdown. But they are definitely going to have to potentially give up on this fight. You know that Yudu, they are struggling. Not too sure how to fully commit to this one. Team IND, here it is. They're keeping the pressure high, keeping the pressure at an all-times high. As here it is, they're making their way down the mountain top, and Yudu make their way into the circle, but the high ground is still to the advantage of Team IND. Things are not looking great on the other side, but Yudu still got one player, and that's going to be Drax.
That was really poor by Yudu. You knew they were there. Why did you anyway get anywhere near the vehicles and look to disengage away? This is the time of the game where you have to fight, kill, and frag your way through to the latter parts of this game, because it's put them down to 2 players. Team IND still have 2. Yes, they are further away from the circle, but they're on 8 kills max.
One team we haven't talked about too much, that's Morph going into this. Just sneaky snakes. I mean, no, rattlesnakes over here. Miramar, but able to make their way in the circle. BTR slowly waking up. And now they're going to be looking for the Team IND to get one. Can he get Slayer off Team IND? Oh my god, Slayer gets it done. Team IND shut down. And there you go, Yudu eliminated in 5th position. That's insane.
Revenge is a dish best served Sandy, as Team IND get revenge onto BTR from the game 1 where they couldn't survive against BTR. So now it's going to leave Slayer on his own, as you also still have Ted from Synergy, has been able to quietly move his way in, snake his way through into the circle as the blue zone of phase 6 is closing in. 4 teams, 8 players left standing, and 4 of them are Morph.
Ted gonna be just sticking around down south with Slay of Team IND. Hopefully they'll be having a significantly good phase 7 circle in their favor. But yeah, definitely this is going to be going really well for Morph. They still want some utility, allowing really BTR to not take those easy shots just yet. But I think that here Morph, they need to try and take control of the high ground on the plateau. Playing on a slope can get risky because team can easily push on their location. I think that they did try and scout a little bit more and open their wings to try and take control of this circle. They got the man advantage to do so.
And now as phase 7 shifts to the east, right in the hands of BTR, they've been praying to the PUBG Mobile Circle gods, and they've been gifted the circle right now in the latter parts of this game, but they've got to contend with 4 other players across 3 teams as Slayer prones his way down. The smokes get thrown out by Morph Gaming, looking for Microboy, potentially looking to throw up a grenade. The bombs are going out. Let's see if Microboy can survive.
We'll have to wait and see. The circle actually shifting over to one of the players of BTR. Morph actually going to have to give their position away. The same, unfortunately, for Synergy and Team IND. But here it is, Synergy. Oh my god, he missed so many shots at the start. That was actually really scary. But Team IND out in 4th position. An extra kill for Synergy. But here it is, Morph knocking on BTR's door. But can they get it opened up and Pride open? That's the question to be answered right now. Oh, that grenade. Run away, Ted. Oh my god, that was so close. I did not like that.
Now Ted pulling out some absolute stock moves. They're only on 3 kills, right? So they do need more placement points compared to the 2 other teams left in this game as the blue zone of phase 7 is closing in. Ted's going to be put under pressure. We see all the smokes path being thrown out by the side of Morph. They haven't had to contend with too much action, so they must have all the utility, all the meds coming into the latter parts of this game, Max.
I'm a little bit scared over here for BTR. Reason why? They're in a dip. You know, the main counter of dips, grenades. Yep. If they still got some utility over here, mollies, grenades, that could be huge to try and get that control on this phase 7 circle. But now, Synergy, Ted, he does not want to get involved. It's like a Mexican standoff. You just let things happen, and when the fight breaks out, that's when you go in and try and steal the win.
Reba. Yeah. Let's see if Morph can do the beautiful dance of victory and claim the chicken dinner and stop BTR from getting 3 in a row. But this is the reigning world champions. This is BTR. This is the team that won the first 2 games. Do not ever count this team out, Max.
And as slowly Ted is going to be pushed towards him. Oh, Ryzen's going to go and say hello. Gets the information. I believe that was a nice headshot coming on through. Ryzen gets the shutdown. Synergy out in 3rd position. But now they go for it. They knew the fight was breaking out. They're going to absolutely overwhelm BTR. Bigatron now still with Ryzen left alone. He's got the high ground. He got 1 knockdown for himself. Going to go for the flash. He wants to take every opportunity to every single point he might get.
1v3, 1v3, Ryzen, let's even close out. Shots are coming out. He gets 1 knockdown. He's playing around the dip. He's going to go for the knockdown, but it doesn't count. Morph claimed it.